was 4 pages of information when I went to find a bio on Stuart. So just generally, his background is in chemical engineering, ecology, social biology, entomology, agriculture, psychotherapy, education, policy development, and international development. And his experience of working with transformative change has enabled him to be an effective facilitator in complex situations. We talk about complexity, and that demand collaboration across difference and long-term co-evolutionary approach to situation improvement.
So we don't censor ourselves when we're choosing an animal or a color or a flower or a piece of music. Whereas if you ask people to say things in therapy, they're constantly practicing censoring, subconsciously censoring everything they say, you know. And this is a big issue in farming because there's an enormous pressure to behave in ways that aren't going to make you ridiculed by your neighbors. So there's a whole lot of psychology that goes on in agriculture. In fact, one of them is what's called the impotent farmer syndrome, which is where the child of the farmer who's going to take over the farm has lots of ideas, and the father ridicules all of them and says, that won't work. Oh, I've tried that years ago. There's no point in doing that, and so forth. And so it's resulted in a whole syndrome in agriculture, which has actually been called the impotent farmer syndrome. And it's the thing that enables those people to survive and carry on is usually their grandparents who are willing to be an ally to the grandchild, whereas the parents are not willing to be challenged by the child. And so there's a whole interesting process. So a lot of those things like fun and listening and paying attention to people and interconnecting are really core strategies for coaching. There are all those things people came up with are core business of effective coaching. You know, and it's when you you know, if you think what is key to coaching, and write down things and then say, if I could add one more, what would it be? It's usually that one that's the key one. And for a lot of people, if you keep going with adding things, eventually you get to words like love, which is a hard one for people to say when you're thinking, what's the key to my coaching? But actually having love as a foundation, which is an unlimited, in every direction understanding of connection, which is not censored in a sense. It's not limited. And so, you know, it's like, how would you do this if you felt loved, fully loved, and that you were willing to see the help you're providing as an act of love is a very liberating thing as a coach to start thinking like that. Because what we normally do when we think of what to do, we think about how to be effective and efficient and organized. And I think about the people in my life who've influenced me. They're some of the least organized and even poor teachers. But what they modeled was absolute excitement and passion and connection to whatever it was they were talking about. And I wanted to be contaminated by their passion and enthusiasm and excitement. And I was willing to put up with their poor teaching because of that, because of that recognition of and respect for that absolute passion in when they were talking about the soil or livestock or crops or whatever it was.